All right, everybody, welcome to the Monday Night Hammer. I am Run the Sims. My real name's Nick. We got Michael underscore Sicoli. His real name is Michael Sicoli. That's where you can find us on Twitter. Wild weekend. Let's start it off. What were you for Halloween?
Oh, what was I for Halloween? So, I had this costume from over the summer, and it was fantastic. Tourist costume. All right, great. Classic flamingo shirt, floral, neck gown. It was great. What I had over the summer, didn't bring it up to college. Had a coconut bra. All right, Nick. I had a coconut bra. Now, I didn't bring it up because why would I ever bring it up? And so I decided to crowd the party stores, and there was nothing left except for a white fanny pack. So I wore a floral shirt and a white fanny pack for Halloween. What did you do?
Okay. Well, I was even more lame. I didn't dress up, but at least I look like Mr. Rogers right now. I'm
Yeah,
noticing.
you're
I'm
pulled
gonna,
that off. Yeah.
I feel like I'm in that weird in between stage where like dressing up like unless I'm going to a costume party, like whatever, and I don't have kids yet, so I'll dress up. I'll get excited about dressing up when I have kids to dress up with.
Yeah,
We'll
no,
get some nice themed costumes.
my roommates and I, we just had that little realization. We just signed a lease on our house for next year, for next academic year.
Oh, I thought you said your roommates and you were gonna adopt a kid or something.
No, 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 no.
I don't even know if that's legal.
No. But we realized we might have trick or treaters next year. I might
Oh
be handing
yeah,
out candy next year.
that's a big
I'm
one. It's
a
always a good
lot of
time.
things have happened last year that have made me say I'm officially old, but that's definitely going to be one of
Yeah, that's
them.
it makes me feel old that you think that makes you feel
Yeah,
old because
yeah.
I remember that feeling a long time ago. But anyway, let's jump into some injury news here, and I put it on the show notes. I was very explicit. I am not victory lapping
There's a
Derrick Henry's
capital butt in there, man.
injury. I am not victory lapping Derrick Henry's injury. He could be back in 6 weeks. It's a Jones fracture in his foot. He had surgery today. Don't expect him back anytime soon. He is a freak. He is Derrick Henry. They could have him back for the playoffs, but as far as fantasy goes, you're probably in some trouble if you drafted Derrick Henry, and that's sad. And if you drafted zero RB, you wouldn't have this problem. So that's all I gotta say.
You wouldn't have
That's all I
8
gotta
weeks
say.
of God, the best of production in
No,
fantasy football. But Derrick Henry, it's brutal. I put out a tweet as soon as it happened and my thoughts on it all. And Jerry McNichols, this is what we have to do in fantasy, right? This injury is terrible, but we have to look at the next man up. Next man up is Jerry McNichols. He's going to find himself in that third down role. But I said it as soon as the news dropped. Jerry McNichols was not going to be a 3-down back. He wasn't even going to be the first or second down back because they were going to add somebody. When people were talking about Marlon Mack as an in division trade, thought that was unlikely. They brought in Adrian Peterson. They've signed Adrian Peterson. He's expected to make the roster. Adrian Peterson will take the early down role. It's going to be a relevant role. It really will. It won't see passing downs, and that efficiency won't be there. The highs won't be there, but it'll be a 15 to 20 carry workload.
Yeah. Is Darrington Evans off IR yet?
He's got off the IR. Played 1 week, immediately went back on, which was enough for the year.
All right, so that makes me even more into Jeremy McNichols, because he's a pretty good player. He comps really well in the analytics field with Aaron Jones. Obviously,
really,
they have similar measurables in college production and those types of things. The difference is draft capital. And it's just like he has the athleticism. He's a good player. He's done well when he's gotten chances. He's a pass catching back. This is a zero RB dream. Is all I'm saying. Is Jeremy McNichols is going to be like the poster child for zero RB. So you're going to have to go out and get him, burn in that waiver priority. This is the type of player we got to go after. And it could also bite you too. A lot of zero RB guys, we're all over Kenny Gainwell this week, me being one of them. It seems that he's lost a little bit of the coach's trust there. We don't have to get into that.
When did he lose that trust, Nick? It just happened. It just happened. We won't spend too much time on it right now, but when did that happen?
Yeah, you would think that they would want him to step in, right, and get a little bit more of the workload, but they kind of went with Boston Scott and Jordan Howard really carrying the load. He must be terrible on passing downs. He must not know the playbook completely. I mean, he is a day 3 running back pick. I mean, those guys are kind of shaky. So
what was Boston Scott? What was Jordan Howard? Jordan Howard was day 3. Boston Scott, I think he was undrafted, but yeah, I mean, that's a weird one. But
so do we have to let's make the statement right now? Do we have to label Kenny Gainwell as just a guy?
Oh no,
because we were.
No.
I was excited about him, man. But I think it's anchoring bias. He just had a couple games where he popped early, and then he's kind of been trash ever since.
Really, a big enough sample size to rule on it. He's shown some flashes. That's what I want to see. You need to see more out of day 3.
Might be just a guy.
Might be. Probably will be, as most day 3s are. But to take it back to McNichols, just not so we don't go totally off track. He's the number 1 waiver pickup of the week. Lots of loaded. If you have, like Nick said, if you have the priority, you burn it. If you have the fab, you're going to burn it as well.
At this point in the season, sell out.
Yeah, where do you put Adrian Peterson on that though? Because I'll say it right here. I have a hefty bid on him in one of my leagues right now.
I mean, there's some people. So for me, there's a lot of really big Adrian Peterson fans, and he's gonna get bid up just because of that.
Sure.
What has he given us the last couple of years when he gets onto these teams?
Nothing.
That desperately, he hasn't done anything. He's soaking up pretty useless touches. I mean, he's a battering ram. He's going to help wear down the defense from the 20 to the 20, and then you're bringing in your more athletic guys, your guys that aren't completely over the hill to close it out. He can get some goal line carries. I don't know. He's kind of fun. I mean, he's a fun stash if you have room for him.
And that's what he is though. Is that goal line carry is interesting because over the last 3 seasons, it's 7 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns. He's going to get that role. It's not going to Jeremy McNichols. It's going to this future Hall of Famer right here.
Yeah.
So,
well, they're splitting. They're going to split Derrick Henry's insane workload between 2 backs. So it is an insane workload. So there will be plenty of passing down work for McNichols, and there probably be plenty of goal line touches for Adrian Peterson if that's how they decide to do it. I think that they'll split goal line duties, and McNichols will get all the pass down work. Most of it. So he's the guy you want. And Adrian Peterson, if you're starting Adrian Peterson, we're in trouble. So,
yes.
Injuries. Sam Darnold has a chance to play after suffering a concussion this week. But just reading the news and the press conference, it seems like they're getting ready for PJ Walker to make a start. I think he's a toss-up right now. He's also bad. So there's that. Sam Darnold is not good at football.
I don't think they're trying right now that they don't have Sam Darnold the way he's played recently. What's really interesting to monitor is whether CMC is going to be back in the field. It started off a little optimistic that they were expecting him back, but Matt,
it doesn't sound like it. Yeah, it doesn't sound like it.
Keeps on flipping back on saying, we'll see. And I mean, I will. When it happens, it happens. It's not something I'm ready to lock in, especially on a Monday.
Yeah, I mean, I think you gotta wait another week, and then the thing is you gotta start him as soon as he's back.
I was gonna say if he's active, you have to play Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, they're being so careful with him, where a lot of other running backs that aren't being paid as much as him probably would have played this week. Through a little bit of, they're not letting him come back unless he's 100%. So that's why I'm saying here's the optimistic outlook on it, right? If you drafted CMC or have him in Dynasty, they're not putting him on the field at anything less than 90%.
They're giving him the Dak Prescott franchise quarterback treatment.
Yeah.
And it's understandable.
Yeah. It's a sharp thing to do after not doing a very sharp thing and paying a running back that much. But CMC, I guess, was worth it at one point, but probably not. Anyway, James Robinson, heel, day-to-day, avoided a serious injury. I said, what a great story James Robinson is. I hope he gets back soon.
I'm so glad he didn't get hurt, man. I seriously, we this could have been so much worse than what it was.
Yeah. So it sounds like he's got a chance to play this week. If he doesn't, you're just gonna have to plug your nose and play hide because he's probably gonna get a ton of carries because Urban Meyer's in love with him.
Yep.
I refuse to talk about Carlos Hyde any more than that. Jameis Winston, knee, done for the year. I don't like. I just root for Jameis Winston because he's fun.
Everyone is.
And
Honestly, everyone is. I mean,
yeah,
he has enough of those clips where we all want him to succeed because he's won his fantasy championships. Like he's a fun player to watch. He's annoying to watch sometimes, but you don't want to. I was saying this to my roommates. It's a torn ACL before a contract year. I don't know what happens with Jameis Winston. I don't know if they bring him back. I don't know if he also got so hard done by of 8 games with the Saints, of which it was hot, cold, traditional Jameis, but no Michael Thomas to help him. And no Traquan Smith even for most of that. And Traquan's not even that good. He got a tough break. I really hope maybe the Saints give him another try, but I don't know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, quarterbacks, his style of play, he can come back from an ACL. He's still relatively young.
Oh, definitely.
I believe he'll probably be 28 when he's done with his recovery. Maybe going on 29. He'll get another shot somewhere. I'd take him on the Steelers. Let's do it.
I'll take Aaron Rodgers, please. Thank you. I'll just
Yeah. Let's start.
Say that.
We're gonna shoot for Aaron Rodgers, but by golly, I'll settle for Jameis Winston post ACL. That's where we're at. That's where we're at.
That is where we're at. On a 3-game win streak, that's where we're at.
Yes.
Yeah.
On a 3-game win streak, no less. Damian Williams, knee. I actually didn't get an update on this one. What's the severity of this?
Yeah, I did not catch much of the Bear games outside of Justin Fields being absolutely insane. I mean, he was questionable return. It's been pretty quiet, but Khalil Herbert's kind of taken that role. So Damian Williams was in a bit of a reserve. This gives Khalil Herbert a clear route to passing down stuff, but we're also nearing that David Montgomery return. So that's something to watch. Khalil Herbert's honestly a plug and play until that's a day 3 player who's shown some juice. Khalil Herbert's played well.
Yeah.
He mauled on Sunday due to that offensive line and the mismatch that it was anyway. But he's played well. You can keep playing him until Montgomery's back, and we can see what role he has from there. Maybe Tariq Cohen can get back on the field. I think his year's lost, though.
Yeah. Here's one a lot of people probably want to know about. Rob Gronkowski. I think he was close to playing this week. So
he did get out there. He did play this week.
Okay. Yeah, he did get out there. They're taking it easy with him because they don't really need him until the playoffs at this point. So I don't think he's going to log a bunch of snaps if he's back for another week or two. They seem to be really touch and go with him. But yeah, another one. This is burying the lead a little bit. Calvin Ridley. I actually didn't put him on this list, but he is. He missed another game due to a personal matter. It seems like he's got some mental health stuff going on. Wish him the best. Find other plans for the time being. Is that right, Mike?
It's not just that. I don't know. Maybe do you catch his statement?
Yeah. He's stepping away from football for a little.
Stepping away from football. Now that's something. Now I said I had a long conversation with my friends about this because as soon as he came out, we had the natural thing of let's go buy Calvin Ridley low in Dynasty. But this is so unprecedented. There is nothing like good on him for doing this, but as analysts, as people who are trying to make that next step, we don't have something to base it off of. This is not a timeline thing. We're not in the head of Calvin Ridley. So what do you do? Because there's a real world to me. This is not impossible that he does not play another down of football. That is in the realm.
Yeah.
That is an Andrew Luck type of thing. That we saw this already. And as someone who had Andrew Luck, it sucked to be holding the bag. But at the same time, I couldn't bring myself to offer a 23 first for Calvin Ridley right now. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah, it's
that exact same thing plus Brandon Cooks the day before.
By the statement, it seems like he'll come back eventually. Like you said, it's like the probability of him never playing another down of football is non-zero, and it's higher than probably any other player right now in the NFL. But I don't think it's likely. I think he will return. People go through these stretches, and you just got to take care of yourself. He's probably got a good team behind him recommending treatment and whatnot. And I mean, are the Falcons competing this year? No. They probably want him to take care of himself for the long run when they get a little more firepower and they build up under Arthur Smith. So, like you said, I think it's likely he doesn't come back this season. Maybe takes a few weeks and comes back at the end of the year. I just find it hard to believe, no matter what he's going through, that he's done with football.
I lean that way as well because he hasn't again, I don't know what's going on in his head, but you have to factor in that he has not got his bag yet, and he will get his bag of money real soon.
Yeah, that's a big motivator.
He hasn't even got his 5th year yet. So
yeah,
we'll see. But it's something that dynasty owners do have to navigate for now. I think if you're rostering him, you have to assume he's out for the season. That is how you have to approach this. I'm not selling him if I have him for anything less than a first plus. And I can't bring myself to send a first for him right now, to be honest.
I would stay away, to be honest.
That makes him hold.
Yep. Jamal Williams was injured, had an illness and had a little banged up thigh. He'll probably be back next week. As someone who's like all in on Swift, I was like, let's go. And he scored 7 points in PPR, which football is weird, man. It's just weird.
The Lions need Jamal Williams. It's confirmed.
Yeah. There's something about him. Look up some YouTube videos of Jamal Williams. I know I've said that before. He's a funny guy.
He's fantastic. Well,
all right. Let's here's just a fun stat from Context Matters on Twitter's. How valuable is Cooper Kupp to your fantasy team?
Oh my goodness.
He is 35% better than Ja'Marr Chase, who's the wide receiver 2. So you're getting 35% more points than the wide receiver 2. And Ja'Marr Chase is kind of in a league of his own too. Like he's crushing.
Oh,
then you go down to a wide receiver 12. The last wide receiver 1. He's almost outscoring them by 75%, 70%. You're getting almost 3/4 of the points more than a regular wide receiver 1. This is crazy. And the crazy thing is like his expected points is like the volume's there. He's super efficient, and him and Matt Stafford are best friends. But let's take a look at. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'll keep it short because you don't need to spend any extra time on Cooper Kupp. But I mean, he scores touchdowns. He's always scored touchdowns. He's a big body slot guy, and he has Stafford's trust. I have been locking in almost like on a weekly basis, playing Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford to extraordinary success in my DFS. I've been paying up every single week, and it has paid off every single week. So sometimes I learned this lesson last year. Sometimes you just gotta take the easy options. Sometimes he's gonna drop 25, and you might as well just play him.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not hard. You can kind of do that with the Buccaneers now too, because they just throw the ball so much. All right, so what we're looking at here is a little buy low model I threw together through 7 weeks. These are players that I kind of filtered some things out here. So these are players that are underperforming their expected fantasy points based on volume. A lot of things that we've looked at this before, a lot of things that correlate well with fantasy points. So air yards, yards after tackle, yards after reception, those types of things. And it spits out a number like, given the volume, given the touches, how many points should have this person have scored? And if they're scoring under it, this number will be negative. I've reduced everything down to points per game. So let's see. Najee Harris should be scoring about 22.75 points per game based on the absurd volume that he gets. He's at 19.2 points per game. Still awesome, but he's underperforming by 3 points per game. Now, the interesting is we can look at something like this and say, why? Why is Najee Harris underperforming? It's probably a little bit of he doesn't really have that breakout speed to like really finish a 70-yard run. But also the offensive line is maybe league average. They're better than we thought they were going to be, but
they're improving with every week. But they're
not great. They're not doing him any favors. And Big Ben's arm is dead, so people are stacking the box. So there's 3 reasons right there, and he's underscoring by 3 points. That's not how this works, but I just wanted to kind of explain what's going on here. Other than Najee Harris, I think that one's kind of a moot point because you're happy if you have him, even though he's underperforming.
For sure.
Who stands out here? So I kind of have these as all buys. Obviously, Calvin Ridley, we're going to remove from that list. These are the guys I really, really like if I'm looking to trade in dynasty or even season long. Anybody in here stick out to you?
Who sticks out to me and someone who I was off of during the draft process. I've talked myself on for this year. Laviska Shenault, man. Like, I don't understand it. It's what's his name? Jamel Agnew was out there with more snaps, with more routes run last week. It's Urban Meyer is not using Laviska Shenault in a way that's fantasy relevant. And I don't. Trevor Lawrence isn't finding him the ball. Marvin Jones isn't even getting the ball at the consistency we thought he would. I think I'm just so hands off the Jaguars for this season. I'm hoping that Urban Meyer isn't around next year, but I don't know. I don't know. You can tell me what the data says about Laviska Shenault, but what I'm seeing out there is that he's just not getting the ball in space, and he's not creating separation, and he's not. If he needs to get the ball in space to do something, that's who he is as a player. And if he's not separating and they're not finding ways to get him open, he's not usable.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up here. I mean, so Jamal Agnew is not even on the model, right? Because he doesn't have a large enough sample size. I'd be interested to see like what his numbers look like. But Marvin Jones is scoring right around what we would expect him to score. And James Robinson is overperforming a little bit, but that's probably because he's good. So what this says is he is still getting the volume for right around 12 points per game, which what does that put him around? Like what type of players? I'll show you here in a second. 12 points per game expected points is like a wide receiver 3. So let's take a look here. Shenault. And he's performing like these are players that hurt you, right? These are ones that you drafted to slot in as your flex or wide receiver 4, and they're barely giving you the volume that you need for any type of production on your starting lineup. Here's a wild one. Jamar Chase is outperforming his expected points by 9 per game.
Yeah,
9 points per game. He's a freak. He's due for regression though. You're not going to sell him, but he will settle down a little bit. That's just math. He can't score that many touchdowns, but he has proven us wrong so far. Anyway, let me refilter here.
I have in the meantime, I have the Jamal Agnew numbers from this Sunday if you're interested.
Yeah, what are those?
So he ran more routes, he played more snaps than Viska. He saw 3 times the targets, he got 3 times the passes, and he had 3 times the amount of yardage as Shenault. This is a stat from Ryan McDowell, who's a fantastic Twitter follow if you're not doing that already. And Jamal Agnew in the last 3 weeks, he's played 59% of snaps or more. He's played 72% this week, which is I'm almost certain a career high, definitely a season high. And he's seen at least 6 targets in each of those games. He saw 12 this past week. Jamal Agnew seems to be the guy in Jacksonville. Again, not something we ever thought possible. A former cornerback, a turned wide receiver. But yeah. I mean, that it seems to be trending that way. Like he's being used how we thought Shenault would be used.
Yeah, it is pretty wild.
Urban Meyer, I don't get it.
Yeah. Are you going to drop Shenault for Agnew? Like just straight up?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I'm at the point, I said it before the bye. And then he showed a little bit, so I held him. But Laviska Shenault is not, I'm not holding on to him anymore. He needed to show me something. He has not shown me anything. There's nothing to indicate that a change is coming. Trevor Lawrence might grow into his role as rookie quarterbacks do, and that could improve. But maybe it could improve for Dan Arnold, who's seeing a lot of work. It could improve for Marvin Jones. There's no reason I should think it could improve for Laviska. Jamal Agnew is being used, and that's what you have to roll with. You have to be water.
Mm-hmm. You have to be water. That's good advice.
You have to be water.
What I highlighted here, this is an interesting pattern I saw, is we got 3 rookie quarterbacks that are underperforming their expected points. That's an expected, unexpected, or under expectation because they're rookies. They should get better as the year goes on. Mac Jones was on this list, and I believe he was scoring about 5 fantasy points under expectation. So this says that he's getting better. Mac Jones is. He seems to be finding his groove a little bit in that offense. And as he improves, you'll probably see Jakobi Meyers improve. So a lot of these receivers are paired with their rookie quarterbacks. These are great buys. So Trevor Lawrence and Laviska Shenault / Jamal Agnew, who pick your poison. Justin Fields and Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney is the wide receiver 1 in Chicago. I feel like Allen Robinson has ran out of what's to give. He just looks a little apathetic out there.
You can't pick Allen Robinson anymore. If you haven't given up on him,
you have to drop him. You have to drop him.
You can drop him. I can't bring myself to do it yet. I completely support people who are, but I mean, I've gotten to the point. He's on the bench, and I'm not playing him until I see it. You can totally drop him if your league is not deep enough.
Yeah. Out of these 3, these rookie, we'll call them rookie stacks, which one do you like the best rest of the season? Who are you taking here?
Well, based on what I saw in the one game where Matt Nagy wasn't there, Justin Fields looked his finest because Justin Fields was on the move. Now, Justin Fields is going to run like he did this past week. He will be so good for fantasy. He'll be so good for the Bears. He'll be good in real life. So it makes perfect sense to say Justin Fields here. Now, Matt Nagy might return to a bigger play calling role next week. And never before has a head coach been that much of a detriment on his freaking team, except maybe like Jeff Fisher or Marvin Lewis, maybe. But like, it's so disappointing. But I will say that Trevor Lawrence was improving for quite a while. Looked pretty bad out of the bye this week, but
I mean,
Trevor Lawrence will find his way. This is still a generational talent, and I stand by that. Justin Fields will probably have the strongest second half for me, though.
Yeah, and Trevor Lawrence is already projected out to 21. After Justin Fields' big game yesterday, he's probably going to creep closer to like 17, 18, just because early data points in a career matter a lot more. So yeah, it's definitely Trevor Lawrence for me too, but it's a little harder to pick who's going to get the ball there. So if you truly want to just go after a stack, which is kind of a fun way to play fantasy football, I'm with you. I think I'm going with the Justin Fields, Darnell Mooney stack, but Jacoby Myers and Mac Jones are fun to root for too.
I'm also pretty confident now, or not pretty confident. I'm leaning towards that Dan Arnold is the Jacksonville receiver to own.
Okay.
The snaps have been 70% for the last 3 weeks, 73, 62, 72. He's seen 5+ targets in each game. They traded for him. They clearly want to use him. They figure that scripting Dan Arnold the ball is more important than anyone else. So, Dan Arnold is on your wire right now, and he really shouldn't be. So,
and there he is. He's actually in. I filtered out anything less than 7.5 points per game. He's getting a lot less. Before the trade, he was getting a lot less volume, so that's why he got filtered out there. But yeah, he's a baller, man. He's a baller. He's on the list.
Okay, and definitely a baller. I will also quickly pour one out for Jacoby Myers, who will never score a receiving touchdown, and the world will burn when it happens. He's a good player.
Yeah.
It's so. I feel so bad for him. Oh, geez.
Don't get him one. It's a thing now. It's a thing. They're gonna get him one soon.
If you're as a statistical guy, the regression is insane on this one.
Oh yeah, we're tilting over here on the spreadsheet. We're tilting pretty hard. But yeah, here's a couple of good buys here. I'll probably put something together. I find this really interesting, and I want to run through 8 games because as you can see, it only has the Thursday game updated. I'll run it after the data drops tomorrow, and maybe put together a little article for sometime this week. This is great for finding trade targets. I have had a lot of success in trades in both season long and dynasty by using this method. Just target the guys with red that are red and they don't make sense, or they're young, because they're going to get better. So that's my piece of advice. Look for that article. Let's say Wednesday. I'll give myself a little deadline, Wednesday. And let's talk about Monday Night Football. What's your rant? Who's going off? Is it Evan Ingram night? Last night as a Giant. Did you see that?
Listen. There is so much wrong with the Chiefs right now, and something's got to give. And I do think this is the get right game. I think this is the game where the Chiefs are about to rip them apart. I'm still deciding on this 10/10.5 spread and which side to lean. But all that said, I think this is going to be one of those Tyreek Hill weeks. I really do. The Giants are allowing an obscene amount of yards. to the wide receiver. They're allowing 156 yards a game and has given up 8 touchdowns to the receivers alone. I don't think there's a single player on this secondary that can guard Tyreek Hill, and there's no other secondary option on the wide receiver front that will get the ball. Now, this Giants defensive front doesn't scare me in terms of getting to Patrick Mahomes. They're at Arrowhead. It's very possible that they just completely annihilate the Giants. I will also say that the Chiefs defense is unwatchably bad, and I will play Darius Slayton tonight accordingly as the guy who I would choose to get a deep throw touchdown.
Yeah. Evan Ingram's last game in New York, or the rumors, they're thinking they're going to move him before the trade deadline. Get him a fresh start. He's a good athlete.
Where? Who wants Evan Ingram? They've been trying this for so long.
I don't know. It's probably, you know what you need to do? You need to put Evan Ingram in your captain slot because someone in the organization leaked that, and Daniel Jones is going to throw him 15 times. You watch.
I am willing to be
Jason
wrong.
Garrett's going to be calling it in. We want to hike up the price, move him tomorrow. That's business, baby. Evan Ingram contract game. Evan Ingram trade game, we'll call it.
I'm speechless.
I'm flag planting that. Evan
Ingram's you want to flag plant Evan Ingram tonight? That's
flag planting Evan Ingram.
On the record, right here, for the world to see. You are flag planting Evan Ingram.
100%.
Yeah. Tight end Evan Ingram. Let me remind you, who has not scored more than 8 fantasy points this year in half PPR.
Book him for 10. Book him for 10.
I could book him for 10. I could book him for 10 drops, Nick. That's what I can do.
10 drops. He's gonna go nuclear, and then he's gonna get traded to the who needs a tight end? He's gonna get traded to who do you got for me?
Oh, okay. So
the Bills need a tight end.
Dawson Knox will come back soon. I don't know. There's a lot of teams that could use a tight end. I just don't think that Evan Ingram is that guy.
He's not that guy, pal.
He's not that guy. Maybe they send him to Carolina and try to get some help there, and they just try to replace Dan Arnold or something. I mean, there's a lot of teams that could use a dynamic tight end. It's just that Evan Ingram isn't a dynamic tight end.
He'll probably end up in Houston.
Oh, God.
All right. I got to get going.
Yeah, no.
All right, everybody. Let's take us out. All right. I've held my cough in the whole time. Hold on. Excuse me.
Impressive.
We are, for Fantasy Sake QC, I'm Run the Sims at run_the_Sims. This is Michael Sicoli at Michael__Sicoli. You can find all of our content at forfantasysakeqc.com. This has been brought to you by MPX, the mobile party experience. Catch you later. Go Evan Ingram.
Have a good night.